Very good. Hi. We never thought we would still be doing this. John asked when we're going to be in person again, and we'll have to talk about that. We don't know yet. So let's start hands together, top of the mat. And just close the eyes, take a few breaths. Try to spread the toes so that your foundation is a little bigger. You take up more space. And on your next exhale, just lower your arms over your eyes. We're just going to reach the right arm up, straight arms. And side bend, let your left hand slide down toward your knee. On the inhale, belly button to spine, come through center. And just switch arms. Exhaling to switch. Inhale, reach as high as you can. And exhale over to the side. Your right hand will slide toward your knee and your hips are going to push opposite. Inhale, belly button to spine. Exhale to switch arms. Inhale, get as tall as you can through the fingers and the crown of the head. Exhale, side bend. Stretch through the waist. Inhale, think of yourself getting a little skinnier. Exhale, switching the arms. Inhale. So that belly button is really your support system, so that when you side bend or return, you feel secure in your back. Center for the inhale, just lower that arm, exhale. Let's separate the feet about hips width. Inhale, both arms up. And let's fold forward, bend the knees as you fold. Rest your chest on your thighs. And just drop the head. Shake out your head a little bit, loose neck. And with the knees bent, just roll up. And draw your belly button in toward the spine again so that you feel an articulation in your back. And it takes a little bit of strength and control, but then your back will be happier. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. This time, let's straighten just the right leg. Walk your hands over to the outside of your left foot. If the floor is too far away, you can just hold on to the left leg, maybe the calf and the knee. And push that right hip toward the wall behind you, so you're stretching the waist, the side body. Bend both knees, walk through center, chest on thighs as you go through center. And just straighten the left leg so your torso is leaning to the right. And the way to maximize the stretch for the hip and waist is push that left hip back. So you're just moving the upper body. You're not really wiggling through your hips too much. Head's gonna stay heavy, come through center, bend both knees, belly in. If you can't really do the belly in thing, because you're just feeling a little weak in the core today, bring your fingers just to the side of your belly button and poke into your belly. That'll stretch the back. So fingers either there or dangling, roll up. And the fingers poking in your belly, it's just a bit of a manual assist for that Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, reach up. Fold, exhale. We'll bend the knees. This time, let's interlace the fingers behind the back. Lift the thumbs off your butt. Let your arms reach away from you. And you decide whether you keep your knees bent or you straighten the leg. But whichever you do, be mindful of A, hamstrings, and B, belly in. So just don't let the core just kind of get sloppy just because now you're thinking of the forward bend. Keep that engagement. Let's rebend the knees, release the grip, hands to the floor, step back, plank. Straight arms, straight legs. Belly button in still. Take one more breath. And on your exhale, lower slowly all the way to the belly. Shalabhasana C. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Lift the chest up and forward. The legs up and back. So it's not just up, which would bring you into a deep back bend. It's also reaching away from the core so that you're long. And keep the chest lifted. Slip the fingers away, hands under the shoulders. Inhale, little cobra, elbows close to the ribs. And downward dog, exhale. And wiggle around however you need in downward dog. This is a great position to practice the hollowing of the belly. Okay, next, inhale, bring your heels up as high as you can. Exhale to bend the knees, chest toward thighs, and jump forward, feet to hands. Inhale when you get to the top of the mat, fold, exhale, and either roll up or reverse swan dive up, however you want. And we'll bring the arms by our sides for Samasthiti. Inhale, reach up, this time steeple mudra. And like you did before, go over to one side, doesn't matter which one, you just push the hips opposite your arms. Inhale through center as tall as you can. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale as tall as you can, belly in so you feel skinny. Exhale over the other way. There should be no back pain, but it's really controlled by how much can you draw the belly in. Last time over to that second side. Rise up through center, inhale. And fold forward, exhale, knees can be straight or bent. Halfway up, inhale. Just find plank, exhale. Straight arms, straight legs. Either stay like this, or swing your right leg out to the side, tap your toes, swing it back again to the left leg, so it taps like on the plane of your fingers. One more time, right leg swings, and then left leg swings. We meet in just a normal plank. On your next exhale, chaturanga, elbows bend about 90 degrees. Inhale, chest up, shoulders back. Exhale, downward dog. Wiggle as needed. Belly is hollow and armpits are hollow. So find that lift in the shoulder armpit region, so that you're keeping your arms in the sockets even as you press your chest toward your legs. So that it's not a droopy feeling. Next, inhale, heels high. Exhale, bend the knees, jump forward. You can always step if you want. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Either roll up or reverse swan dive up. Samasthiti, arms by your sides. And reach up, let's hold opposite elbows, belly in. Now we're just gonna think forearms to the ceiling. It's tempting that when your arms are up, either with this position or reaching up completely, that you do this and you stick your butt out and your ribs come forward. So think instead, keep your arms where they are, but think of cinching your lowest ribs with your hip bone, so that the front side of your body actually gets smaller. The back side of your body gets longer. So keep that idea and side bend over to some side. Push your hips opposite your forearms. Come through center on your inhale. Find that long back and over to the other side. Through center, long back would be a little bit shorter front body. And over to the front side, or first side, I should say. Inhale, center, and over to the other side, second time, second side. And through center, we'll fold forward, just release your hands down. Bend the knees if you want. Inhale halfway, and step to plank, exhale. This time either stay in plank or touch your knee to right elbow. And extend it back, left knee to left elbow, extend it back, one more time each side. So it feels a little bit like a crunch and it's less hip than the version we did before. From a normal plank, exhale to bend the elbows. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, downward dog. So we're moving the hips up and back. We're moving the inner thighs back. And a lot of that is controlled by your ability to push into your fingers. On your next inhale, lift your right leg as high as you can. Exhale to bring it forward between the hands. Come onto fingertips. Inhale to straighten your right leg as much as you can. Exhale to bend it. Simple twist, right arm up. Inhale. Untwist, exhale. Just one more time like that. Straighten the leg, inhale. Bend the leg, exhale. Simple twist, inhale. Untwist, exhale. High lunge for the inhale. Stay there for the exhale. Now we're just going to do that same kind of thing from here. Straighten the front leg, inhale. Bend the knee, exhale. So you have to squeeze your thighs a lot. Inhale, squeeze your thighs together for balance. Bend the knee, exhale. Stay there for your inhale. And on the exhale, we'll twist and open the arms. You can put a little bend in your back knee. It makes your back feel a little softer. Inhale, straighten, high lunge. Exhale, twist. Last time. Inhale, untwist. Hands to the floor, step back, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Left leg as high as you can toward the ceiling. And step forward, toes line up with fingertips. Inhale to straighten your left leg. If you have your hands on blocks, your leg might get straighter. Exhale to bend, right palm flat. Twist, inhale. Untwist, exhale. One more time just like that. If you can, think about bringing your belly button in toward your spine. Simple twist, inhale. Untwist, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Stay there for the exhale. Inhale, squeeze the thighs together, straight front leg. Exhale, bend. So if you're thinking about balance, probably belly button to spine is too much. Last time we bend the knee. But as you feel comfy in the balance, you just take it to a deeper level. High lunge for the inhale, twist open for the exhale. Little bend in the back knee if you want. Inhale, high lunge, straight back leg. Exhale to twist. Inhale, high lunge. And to chaturanga, exhale. The belly is drawing in. But for many years, you're just practicing making shapes. And something like a belly drawing in or a Baddha, which is what we would call it in fancy yoga land. That's a detail that may be too much at first. But you don't really have to know what level energetically these poses are working for you. They'll still work. You don't have to understand any of the meridians. It will still work. Let's lift the heels high. Inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale and stepward jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold. Exhale. Let's bend into the knees. Utkatasana. I'm just stepping back for the sake of the camera. You can stay put. And we're just going to come lower. Bend the knees more and lean forward so that you're basically staring at your toes. And notice the tendency for your belly and boobs to just kind of smush into your leg. Draw your belly in so there's some space there. It's harder to do, but it's more satisfying. Let's turn it into Bakasana. This is optional. You can go to downward dog if you want. If you're entering Bakasana, do that same rounded back thing that you just did. Belly in. Then you'll be able to get your arms a little straighter. Jump back when you want. We'll meet in downward dog. Take a breath or two when you get there. Okay, I'm going to flip around. Let's lift the right leg as high as we can. Inhale. Step forward, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Open up warrior two, exhale. Back and forth again. Inhale, high lunge, so spiral on that back foot. Exhale, plant that back foot. One more time. So the front leg is not moving or changing. And we'll meet in warrior two. And just straighten the front leg, dig that right heel into the floor. Exhale, pull that front leg to bend. Inhale, push into the floor, straight. Exhale, pull, bend. Just one more time. Inhale. And exhale. This time, hands to the floor. Step back, vinyasa. Take an extra moment in your downward dog to make sure that your shoulders are spiraling away from your ears, but that your forearms are spiraling in and keeping your thumb and pointer nice and heavy on the floor. Left leg up as high as you can, inhale. Step to the hands, exhale. High lunge, inhale. Dig that left heel into the floor. Open it up, warrior two, exhale. Inhale, right hip comes forward. Exhale, warrior two. The hips open to the long edge of the mat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to straighten the front leg, push the ground away from you. Exhale, dig into the floor and pull, bend knee. Two more times. This is a really nice position for folks with back issues because it's very neutral. Keep drawing yourself in and up so you stay tall. And we'll vinyasa from there. You can always skip the vinyasas and go to downward dog if you want. You can always do chaturanga from your knees. Then there's less weight on your shoulders and wrists. Okay, heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, and step or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana, inhale. Twist to the right, hook your left elbow. And we'll look down. We'll keep pushing our knee into our arm. Just step your left foot back. So we wind up in a twisted lunge. Consider looking up. And 3 times we're going to bend the back knee. You might wind up in a twisted Anjaneyasana. And then we'll lift the back knee again for that lunge. So you decide how far you bend your back leg, but try to keep the intensity of your twist. You end up working your right hip quite a bit to do this. After your third one, you're in the lunge, just untwist and come into 3-legged downward dog. That right leg is just going to travel back and up. Circle the ankle a time or two with that top foot. Go the other way. And bring that knee to the forehead, rounded plank. So this is all a belly in kind of situation. Drop the head to meet your knee. 3-legged dog again on your inhale. And step the foot forward to the hands. High lunge, inhale. And again, a twisted lunge, hook your elbow. I like to roll the flesh of the thigh in so that I get a deeper hook, so that there's no space between armpit and thigh. Hands to prayer. Look down, back foot to meet front foot. From whence you came, you're in that twisted chair. Either stay there, or just a little side trip to Parshvabhakasana. You'll reach your arms out to the side. Your left leg will be, your left hand will be maybe 8 inches from your foot. Your right hand will be maybe 18 inches from your foot. You shift your weight so that your hips go to that space over the center of your forearms. If you went to the arm balance, return your feet to the floor. And let's all untwist, straight legs, reach up, and head to the other side. Hook your right arm. Stay there for a moment. I'm just checking in on all of you. Okay. So we'll step back. And we wind up in a lunge. Not so hard. Try to look at the ceiling if possible. And bend the back knee some amount and straighten it to that normal lunge. 2 more times. So you really have to have some tension there between the knee and the elbow or the tricep, whatever's touching the leg. Okay, so from that twisted lunge, just bring the hands down, 3-legged downward dog, left leg up, as high as you can. Circle the ankle. Go the other way. All right, rounded plank. So this is a very hard pose. Some of it is just getting your knee close to your chest. Some of it is getting your head close to your knee. And some of it is squeezing your heel up toward your butt. Keep your arms straight. Lift the leg up high again. Inhale. And step to the hands. Exhale. High lunge. Inhale. And find your twist again. Exhale. Back foot to meet front foot. Take your time. Feet together. Knees together. And those of you taking a little journey over into the arm balance, you're going to just keep your fingers facing the same way as your toes. Bend your right elbow a little bit and let your feet lift up. You're just kind of perched, mostly on that right forearm. The left arm is still strong though. If you're in the arm balance, bring your feet down again. And we'll all untwist, reach up. Samastitihi, arms by your sides. Inhale, reach up. Bend the knees as you fold forward. Exhale. Straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Inhale, halfway. Bend the knees and fold. This time, take it all the way down to your butt. If this is not a way for you to get to your butt, just sit down some other way and lift the legs. You wind up using your hip flexors quite a bit to keep the legs lifted. We'll stretch that out in Anjaneyasanas in just a moment. All right, feet down as close to your hips as you can. Round your back. Let your knees open a little bit so you can lean forward more and lift your butt. Then the knees can come together again. Utkatasana, which is a back bend in counter of what you just did. On your exhale, fold straighter legs. Inhale, halfway up. And step or jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg up high, inhale. Rounded plank, exhale. Leg up high again, inhale. One more rounded plank, exhale. We're going to use that in a moment to step forward. Leg up high, inhale. Same idea as rounded plank, just land your foot between your hands. High lunge, inhale. And warrior 2, exhale. Straighten the right leg, inhale. Harshakanasana, so either elbow to the thigh or hand to the floor. Left arm over the ear, so that we have roughly a straight line from back foot to top hand. That's about the 3rd breath we were here for. We're going to stay for 5 total. That's 4. Slide that right hip a little more underneath you, and 5. We'll release that left hand down, back knee down, hands to the front thigh. So this is Anjaneyasana. It's great for a lot of things. Right now, use it to stretch out your left hip flexor, that front thigh area. Okay, hands to the floor. Step back, either down dog or vinyasa. And from down dog, we'll lift the left leg high. Inhale.
Knee to the nose, round your back. Exhale. Inhale, leg up high. And it doesn't matter if you actually get your knee to your nose. Just try to bring your belly in, curl yourself. Step your foot between your hands. High lunge, inhale. Open up, warrior two, exhale. Straighten that left leg, inhale. And Parsvakonasana, whatever version you did. So to get that right arm over the ear, some people will just kind of turn it and extend. Some people might want to go like this, having the palm face into your body, and then let it sweep over. Doesn't really matter how you get into your position. You really don't have all that much time to get into it anyway. That's why it morphs over the 5 breaths. It gets deeper by that 5th breath. And your 5 breaths today are in essence prepping you for your breaths tomorrow. Okay, release that right hand down, Anjaneyasana. Right knee down, hands to the left thigh, and we push that knee forward. The chest and shoulders move away from the knee. If this is too much back bend and you're drawing the belly in and up is not helping to relieve the back, put your hands down instead. Then it's less back bend and potentially a little more comfortable. Okay, hands to the floor. Step back, either vinyasa or downward dog. In a moment, we're going to practice jumping forward and back. If that does not suit you, stay either here or stay here in down dog B. Plenty of work is being done in downward dog. You don't necessarily need to add shenanigans. If you want shenanigans, heels up high, bend the knees, keep your arms straight, palms flat, drag yourself forward. To jump back, you push into your fingers to bring your feet back. You pull yourself forward, you push yourself back. So it's a lot of arm and finger. It is a lot of core also, but I find that hand thing is going to really bring you the extra couple inches. Let's meet in a straight arm downward dog. So wherever you ended up, just meet us here. Let's lift the right leg high and step forward to the hands. Think of the rounded plank as you're stepping forward. High lunge, inhale. To warrior two, exhale. I'm going to scoot back just for the camera. You can stay put. Triangle pose. Straighten the leg. Reach out and down. Right hand could be on your shin, your knee, your big toe grip. Let's do the same thing with the top arm that we did in Parsvakonasana. Extend it over the ear. And now we just have a straight line from that left hip to the left fingers. Lift the arm again. Bend into the front leg, look down and forward. Reach with your hand, Ardha Chandrasana. Left leg up. Look up if you can. And for kicks, if you want something a little bit harder, look down for balance and bring your bottom hand to your ankle, to your right ankle. So now you have no fingers supporting your balance, it's just your right foot. Let's all bring 10 fingertips to the floor, or however many fingertips you have. Square your hips and step into Anjaneyasana. Some of you might be missing a finger, I don't know. But whatever you have, use it as helping you. We'll turn this right foot out to the side a bit, let the knee drop open, and either stay up on hands or come down to elbows. So this is a great way to do pigeon if you're ever feeling like your knees hurt or your ankle hurts. You have a little less to deal with the floor in this version. Okay, return to your hands. This front foot, we're just going to creep it back a little bit. For this side plank variation, push into the right foot so your hips stay high. Lean your shoulders back. And whenever you're ready, vinyasa. And we'll do all of that on side 2. Left leg up high, inhale. Think of your rounded plank as you step that foot between the hands. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior 2, exhale. Into triangle pose, straighten the leg, reach as far out as you can. The hips are gonna push opposite your hand, just like when we were doing those side bends earlier. Right arm up. And to get that arm over the ear, it might be the up and over way, or like earlier, it might be the down and forward way, whatever. I also sometimes like to take a robot situation, get that shoulder set, and then extend. Okay, Ardha Chandrasana. So right arm up again. Look down and forward so that you can drag yourself into the balance. Right leg straight. Ideally, left leg is straight also, but if your hamstrings are tight, it might not be. Those of you going for the weird balance, looking down is going to help a lot. Left hand to left ankle. Chest forward. We'll all bring the fingers down, square your hips to the mat, step back, lower the right knee down, you wind up in an Anjaneyasana, and just turn your front foot about 45 degrees out to the side and let the knee drop open. Come to your elbows if you want. Try to get your left elbow as heavy as your right elbow if you're down there. It requires just a little bit more of your hip. Okay, we'll walk the hands in, side plank variation. You decide how far back your left foot goes. If your hips are more open, your left foot will be closer to the top edge of your mat. Less open, it moves back a bit. Look up if you can, chin toward left shoulder. And vinyasa whenever you're ready. We'll meet in downward dog. Okay, so remember all that practice we did of jumping forward before. So we're just gonna jump forward now, but not back again. So take your time, heels up, activate your fingers, bend your knees, and when you're ready, pull yourself forward and up. You land at the top of the mat. Inhale, bend the knees, exhale. Not bend the knees, what am I saying? I'm getting ahead of myself. Now bend the knees. I got excited because I knew eagle was coming. So we're gonna bring our right arm under our left. Twist the arms like ropes. Then bring the right on top of the left. Twist the legs like ropes. Sit low, elbows up, thumbs away from your face. Try to squeeze your limbs. Take 2 more breaths. To exit, we'll just unravel, feet together, straight legs reach up, and then try the other side. So wrap your left arm under. If the swinging doesn't work for you, you can give yourself a hug. Get your fingers by your shoulder blades, and either keep the hug or then do the forearms. Left up and over. So every breath you take here, try to bend your standing leg a little more. Try to lift your elbows a little higher. Thumbs away from the nose. belly in. And we'll slowly make our way to standing. Just unravel all your arms and legs, reach up, and fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Send the left foot back, exhale. And let's just creep this right foot to the right, maybe 5 inches. Hands to the big toe side of the foot. Now our right knee is very close to our shoulder. So we have to work really hard to keep it close to the shoulder. If possible, walk your hands forward and come onto your elbows. Keep squeezing your knee into your shoulder. Try to get your right arm as heavy as your left arm. Drop your head and stare at your back leg. Make sure it's straight. Take one more breath. We'll return to the palms. Bring that right foot in again so it's in your normal lunge place. Let's slide the back foot 8 inches forward, straighten the legs. Twisted triangle. So we have our heels lining up. Left hand is going to come down, right hand up. 1, 2. Press a little harder into your right foot. 3, that's going to get your left hip more toward the ceiling, more square. 4, and 5. Slowly unravel. Lift the back heel and walk into pigeon. That right foot's just going to walk over to the left. Drop the knee. Find a comfy spot. And depending on how close your right foot is to your left hip, you might need to have a pointed foot or a pointed foot. Eventually, as your shin is more parallel to the top edge of your mat, it will be a fully flexed foot. So the foot is going to change as your hip opens and the location of your shin changes. Okay, either vinyasa or downward dog. We get to do all of that on side 2. We'll bring the left foot forward. And we'll move it out to the left, maybe 5 inches, so that both hands are on the big toe side of your foot. Your knee is right now near your tricep, pretty much. Keep drawing your belly in, and if you can, come to your elbows. So to get to your elbows, your hands are going to move forward. And you'll notice it's pretty easy to get to your right elbow, but then you end up falling over to the right. So now you have to bring your left ribs down toward the floor, and you have to squeeze your left knee in toward your shoulder. And that's so hard to do, but try your best. Stare at your back leg. Make sure that it is involved in this pose. Okay, we'll return to our hands. Walk that left foot in a bit, and we'll set up for twisted triangle. So the back foot has to come in a smidge, left leg straight. If you can't get your left leg straight with your hands on the floor, just use a block. If you don't have a block, stack up some books. Right hand somewhere. It's going to be an easier twist if you put your hand on the big toe side of your foot. So make a wise choice. We're here for 5 breaths. You can think chin to left shoulder. That might help the twist a little bit. I like to think right hip toward the ceiling. Okay, unravel. Make your way into pigeon. It's just a little scoot of that left foot. And today my hips are feeling sort of tight. So I'm letting my foot be pretty close to that right hip. And then the foot is somewhat pointed. And I just see, okay, how does that feel there? If I decide that it's getting a little boring and I need a little more excitement in the pose, I'll slide the foot a little more forward and I'll start to karate chop the edge of the foot into the floor. And those of you that are starting to get toward put behind the head poses and sundials and all that kind of stuff. The foot's going to be really important in all of those. So you start to train it in something like this. Okay, let's vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. All right, all the jumping forward we did of the feet, we're now going to use to jump our butt between the hands. It's the same idea, dragging yourself forward, but you have to do it a little bit more than when you put your foot between your hands. Heels up, inhale, bend the knees, exhale, look forward, and as you jump, cross your ankles, keep leaning forward, extend your legs, and then come on down. Let's go for Baddha. Soles of the feet together. If possible, shins in a straight line. If not possible, something else. And we'll fold forward chest, moving in the direction of your feet. And keep rolling your shoulders back so they're not slumping toward the ground. Okay, we'll rise up. Let's bring our right leg on top, double pigeon. Either stay here in double pigeon, aiming your chest to your shin bone. If that doesn't feel like anything in your hips, for me this used to be excruciating in that right hip. Now I feel nothing. So if you feel nothing and your mind would get bored, you'd start to wander a little bit, twist, look your shoulder. Then you can either do forearm down or hands to prayer, that elbow down. So really in any pose, you do it until you start to wonder what's next. All right, let's change sides. When I was doing whitewater kayaking, the guides always said you do class 1 and 2 until you're bored and you want more. Then you try 3. And you do that until you're wondering, okay, what else is there? So decide if you're going to stay straight or if you're going to add a twist. And if you're in the twist, to give yourself an extra few inches, draw your belly in when you inhale. And as you exhale, push your right hand down a little bit harder, either into your left hand or into the floor, whatever it's pushing into. Okay, we'll slowly untwist or rise up if you were not twisted. And let's just lean back a little bit so that the legs can come off the ground. Hold your ankles and just pull your knees in a bit toward your shoulders. So you're just this little neat package, just wrapped up all in a little bundle. It's pretty easy to stay here because your arms are holding you. So whichever leg you have on top, now use that to cinch your legs right where they are and just reach forward. I happen to have my left leg on top, so I'm squeezing with the left leg to keep my right leg in check. And try to keep all that, just place your hands in front of your hips, not next to, but literally in front of with straight arms. Lean into it and try to get your butt off the ground. Then come on down again. Slide your feet a little bit more generously to the ankles so that you can just step back, have an easier time getting into the vinyasa. Okay, we're going to try to jump through again. So think about extending your legs straight before you lower to your butt. Take your time. And eventually you wind up on your butt anyway, because gravity is going to get you there. So let's lay back for a moment. Cross the right thigh over the left. Hold your ankles and pull your heels toward your hips. If you have any knee issues, this might be a good place to stay. Otherwise, release that and sit up. Gomukhasana. So you can do it with your feet just out to the side by your hips, which is pretty much what you did when you were on your back. Or lean forward, cross higher up on your thighs, and get your toes to face the back of your mat. And you're pretty much going to be sitting on your heels. And with your arms, you can interlace under your knee if you happen to be in that pose. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Okay, and we're going to meet in downward dog. So if you're on your back, you have a little bit of rocking and rolling to do. And again, we're going to try to jump through. Maybe you want to cross the other ankle in front this time. Maybe that works better. Sometimes going the natural way isn't actually the best way, because when we go the way that always is our tendency, we don't really pay attention. So somehow end up on your butt, lower down to your back, left thigh over right, hold your ankles, pull the feet in. So you should be feeling something in the hips here. If not, maybe just pull them in a little more, or try the other version, which would be a Gomukhasana. If you're sitting on your butt and you have your feet out to the side, that would be sort of an Anusara one. You can decide heels next to you or out. Or if you lean forward, cross higher up, this would be the Ashtanga one of Gomukhasana. You might need to look at your feet for a sec. If you're in this version, make sure they're facing back, so there's no weird bend in your ankle. If you're in the Ashtanga version, you have to squeeze your thighs together like crazy, otherwise you lose the balance. Okay, make your game plan and we'll meet in downward dog. From dog, let's lift the right leg as high as we can. Inhale. And bring it forward to the hands. Actually, I lied. Let's step it in front of the right hand. You wind up with a pretty long lunge shape. Just bend the elbows. Chest will dip toward the floor. Slide your shoulder under your knee and reach your arms out. Try to keep swinging your right hip back, like it's trying to touch your left foot. Just take 1 more breath. Unravel your arms, lower the back knee to the floor, and either stay here or turn it into something that resembles your Hanumanasana, your split. Keep bending the front knee a little bit so that you don't overdo it, so that you keep your hips square. And one of the hardest parts about split is getting out of it. So we're going to push into our hands, use the back leg to help us hoist the hips up high, and then you can find your downward dog. Okay, left leg high, inhale. Step in front of your left hand, exhale. Pretty long lunge. Bend your elbows, chest comes low. Slide your shoulder under the knee, arms out. Of course, if your balance is crazy, maybe don't lift your arms up. Try to keep bringing right hip forward, left hip back. Okay, so the same strength you just did to keep yourself in that pose, do it in your Hanuman. So undo the arms, lower the back knee, and you creep yourself into that Hanuman, but it's still this work to square up to the front of the mat. I like to use the hands also to help steer the hips toward the top of the mat. So the exit really is just making a shape, but if you can, think of that Uddiyana Bandha, that lift from the low belly. It might be a detail that's not yet happening for you, but it will bring about some safety and some comfort. Okay. Let's just come to hands and knees for a moment. Measure out your elbow distance by curling your fingers around your upper arms, and then interlace the fingers so you're in this dolphin-esque place. Press the edge of your hand into the floor. I like to tuck that bottom pinky in so that my two pinkies are at the same level. You don't have to do that. So here we are on knees and forearms. On your inhale, arch your back. Use the edge of your hand to pull your chest forward. On your exhale, round your back, push into the edge of your hand. Drop your head. And just go back and forth at your pace. Inhale, the chest is up, the sitting bones are up. Exhale, you draw your belly in toward the spine, sitting bones toward each other. And just go through your range of motion. For right now, if you can, think about how your hand is on the ground, how that edge of your hand and the wrist is staying with the floor. It's never lifting. And it's doing that push-pull action. Let's meet in dolphin. Take your time lifting your knees, walking your feet in a little bit, and just make sure that the edge of your hand and your wrists are still effective in pushing down into the floor. Okay, come on down to hands and knees, and just normal downward dog, straight arms, straight legs. Shake out the head. Okay, jumping through to sitting. So same deal as before, knees toward chest. Curl into a little ball. Extend the legs and then land. Janushirasana A. Let's bring our right foot to the left thigh. 90 degrees between the thighs. Twist, reach for the foot, belly in, and then fold. And aim your armpit, your right armpit, toward your left ankle, so that you keep in that twist situation. Two more breaths. Flex that left foot. And we'll walk our hands in. Let's lift this right knee and place the sole of the foot down. The toes can dangle off your mat. It's kind of an inexact place. And we're just going to start to bring our torso down to this 45-degree place. Don't let this knee, this bent knee, drop in toward your shoulder. Keep pushing it back. This is not really a pose. This is just a great prep for a lot of things. And it really teaches you the value of your left leg. Take one more breath here. And we'll start to rise up and either straighten this leg out or fold it back virasana style for parigasana. So now we twist to the right leg and side bend over that straight left leg. Your right hand may or may not touch your foot, but you want to stretch through the waist, and I like to stretch through the ribs. Sometimes that means that my left hand, I'm going to use it to poke into the top ribs and try to nudge them back a little bit more, because then it just feels like more opening. Theoretically, they would go back on their own, but they don't always, so the nudge is nice. And let's slowly rise up. Bring that right leg to meet the left, and we'll find Navasana, lean back, lift the legs. Okay, curl into a little ball. Hold the shins this time instead of the feet, and bring your knees to your shoulders. Rock a few inches forward so that you're not quite so far on the tailbone, and place the hands and lift your butt. And the knees are theoretically still at the shoulders, but they're not really. We just aim them that way. Okay, Janushvasana. A. Left foot to right thigh. Twist and fold. Each inhale, you lift yourself up and over a little bit more. And I just made it very dramatic. It doesn't have to quite look like this, but the feeling is space, and then you can drop a little bit further along the leg. Okay, we'll come on up. Bring that left knee to face the ceiling. Try to get your heel pretty close to your sitting bone. And if you don't fold, it's pretty easy to keep the knee over the ankle. So maybe you do that, or maybe you start to fold. And I can tell that on this side, it's very hard to equalize the forearms. We're pressing that right calf muscle into the floor a lot, so that we don't tip over onto that right leg. It's almost like it's pushing into the floor to repel us away from the floor. Okay, into Parigasana. So we rise up and we decide, does this left leg want to be straight, or the same Janu position, or traditional is the Virasana. Just make sure it doesn't hurt your knee. Twist to face the left leg, left arm up, and just like we did the very first breaths of class, inhale for height and side bend on the exhale. And just keep repeating that over the course of the 5 breaths. Even if you get your hand to your foot, there's never a moment where you're like, okay, I'm in it, I'm just gonna hang out here. There's always a movement. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be deeper, but make it more comfortable. Open the chest more, breathe deeper. Something is going to be different with each second that passes. Okay, and we'll slowly get out of there. Bring the back leg around, and we'll bring the knees in. So either repeat what we did or take your lotus. If you're going lotus, right leg to the top of the left thigh, left leg to the top of the right thigh. So either lotus or not, and hug your knees in toward your shoulders. And just fold yourself up like a little pancake. In a moment, we're going to lift our butts again. Those of you in lotus, now it's going to be a whole lot easier to think knees to shoulders and just to keep it all together. So make sure you're not putting your hands next to your butt, because there's no way to get up from here. You're too far back. Reach forward with straight arms. Lean forward. It might mean that your feet touch the ground. That's fine. Then lift your butt and just try to get your knees higher, whatever they do. And come on down. Unravel your legs and vinyasa however you'd like to. Okay, let's rock forward to plank and lower down to the belly. Sphinx. We're just going to use Sphinx as a setup for a shoulder stretch. So the right arm is going to snake under the left elbow. And then the left arm is going to reach over to the right. So we're trying to get mostly a straight line from hand to hand. Drop your head toward the floor. My head does not touch the floor because my shoulders are not open in this position. But I'm still just thinking of letting the weight of the head open the shoulders a little more and drawing the belly in so that I don't overarch the back. And I'm trying not to strangle myself with the left shoulder. Okay, slowly get out of there, return to Sphinx, and then try the other side. So that left arm sneaks under the right elbow, right arm walks over to the left. Take your time setting it up. And if you're tighter, you're going to be more up with the shoulders, which is going to make more of a back bend. So those of you with tight shoulders, you need to be more diligent about drawing the belly in, about pushing the pubic bone down. Because we're not trying to make this back bend in our low back. We're trying to stay very comfortable in the back and just address the shoulder. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Hands under the shoulders, just a little cobra to unwind from what you just did. I like to shrug the shoulders up to the ears first and then bring them back. It's a lot easier to move them that way. Elbows are just close to the ribs, and we're still drawing the belly in so we're not overdoing the back. Child's pose for your exhale, which will be a rounded back. Okay, downward dog. So we're going to play in a moment with some headstand stuff. If you do not want headstand, you will be in dolphin. So let's come down to our knees, measure out the elbows. We're just going to take the Baddha, hasta, Shirsasana A, the interlaced finger. Just like I said before, I tuck that lowest pinky in so that no pinky's getting squished. When you're ready, knees up. Make sure the wrist is pushing into the floor, the edge of the hand. Walk your feet in, place your head. Walk your feet in more, lift your legs. Right now you're on the crown of your head. You're just basically staring at the wall. There's a straight line from your knuckles to your elbows. Let's start squeezing the hands together so we make a straight line from our wrists to our elbows instead, and you're going to displace your head. Your hands are going to squeeze and your head will lift a few inches, maybe 1, maybe 3 off the ground. And when you want your head down again, you just open up your hands again. And just play with that. Squeezing the fingers enough to use your forearms and your wrists to displace your head. And then opening it up again to lower the head. And if headstands are not for you, just be in dolphin, working the strength of the shoulders. The next time that your head is down, lower your legs and return to dolphin. Head up, pressing into the edge of the hand. And let's come on down to the knees. Either rest in child's pose. So we've done that before, or just have a look at your screen. So I'm going to move my body kind of to the side of my hands because otherwise the flesh is all the same. You can't tell what's happening. So this would be your headstand, straight line from knuckles to elbows. And when we want our head off the ground, we just squeeze the hands. Now there's a straight line from wrists to elbows. The head would have nowhere to be. So it would be off the ground. So it's very minor movements. It's just about your fingers kind of squeezing in and loosening up. So we're going to try that one more time, but this time we're going to add the element of when you loosen up your fingers to let your head come to the floor again, you're going to change your hand position to a tripod headstand. When the fingers are loose, that's when you can do that, that exit through chaturanga. Otherwise, you're all stuck and white knuckled. So let's try it again. Dolphin if you want. You do not have to lift your legs. Dolphin is one of those things that at some point, you will wonder what's next. You could also try lifting one leg at a time. If headstand is new to you, I think it's tricky that way unless you have a wall because you're kind of less in control. But, you know, whatever suits you. Those of you going up, find your balance and then start to play with that hand position. Squeeze the palms together so that your head winds up lifted. When you put your head down again, your hands are a little looser. Let the fingers loosen more. Find your tripod into chaturanga. It could be one fell swoop, a pretty quick action. And we'll meet in downward dog. Let's bring the right leg forward. Lower the left knee down, hands to the thigh. Anjaneyasana. Push that right knee forward, chest up and away. Okay, so scoot your left leg back just a couple inches, straighten your right leg, and from your hip, swivel so the toes face the right edge of the mat. Just a different version of a half split. Make sure the leg stays straight. Okay, swivel it front again, bend into the knee. Now angle your front foot to the left diagonal of your mat. Lift your back knee and swivel around to the heel of that back foot. So we're in a half squat. You can open up the arms, you could bind around the leg, you can use your hands to help you with balance. And let's meet in Prasarita Padottanasana A. Push into the right foot, parallel the feet, hands between the feet, and fold. Push into the hands to get your chest somewhat through your legs. And let's try the other side with all of this. Straighten the arms, walk to the left, Anjaneyasana, just hands to the left thigh, very nice and somewhat simple. Just stretching through the right hip flexors, open the throat. Okay, half split. So I like to back the right knee up a little bit, otherwise it feels a bit claustrophobic. Flex the front foot, and it's just from the hip that you're spinning. So the ankle and the knee don't really do anything. It might be a bit excruciating in your outer thigh. You can come as low as you want with your chest. If you reach your chest toward that front shin, it gets intense very quickly. Okay, into your half squat. So that front foot is going to face the right diagonal, and we'll just spin to the left, to the right heel. If you have any knee issues, you might be up here. It's fine. If you need your hands for balance, that's fine. If you're going for the bind, you got to get your shoulder in front of your knee. And then it's just like the binds we did last week. We did like 90 minutes of binds last week. Okay, so we'll meet in Prasarita, this time with our forearms down. So this is not a Prasarita that has a letter associated with it. You might find that it's difficult to get your forearms down. That's okay. You just do what you can. You keep your fingers pressing down so that your hands are not migrating all around. Belly in is going to help. It's going to clear a little space so that your chest is further through the legs. Okay, straighten the arms. Walk toward the top of the mat, vinyasa. Let's rock forward to plank, lower down to your belly. Right arm out to the right side, roll onto it. And I just use that left foot behind to catch the body so that I don't roll too far. But you could do any number of things with the legs. A lot of people like to have both soles of feet on the floor, both knees up. Let's come through center over to the other side. Left hand about eyeball height or shoulder height, and roll. And you're just opening up your pec muscles, your shoulder. Don't overdo it. Some people reach this right arm, this free arm, around the back and interlace the fingers. Okay, we'll roll to center again. Bend the knees, find the ankles. Inhale, kick. Exhale, roll to the right. Kick your heels as far from your butt as you can. And work for that same shoulder stretch you found. It won't be quite the same because the hand is in a different place. But make sure that shoulder can roll back. And we'll come through center, over to the other side. So you kick harder with the right in order to roll to the left. You might need to lean forward a bit, roll the bottom shoulder back. And then when you roll back, it sort of pins under you, the same way as it would in a Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. We'll come through center. We'll take 5 breaths at center, just kicking our heels as far away from the butt as we can. If you have no back pain, edges of the feet are touching. If your back hurts at all, separate your feet. Just one more breath, because I've been talking. Slowly let it go, hands under the shoulders, little cobra. So keep your elbows close to your ribs as you lift up. The hands are gonna push down and essentially drag us forward. If I didn't have a sticky mat here, I would end up sliding a few inches toward the top of what was the mat. Now let's meet in downward dog. You might need a child's pose first, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna come through to sitting. Take your time. We just did some back bends, so you'll notice it was different. It wasn't quite as easy to jump through. So if you have no knee issues, John, you're not gonna do this, but otherwise you can fold your leg back. If you have knee issues, just keep your right leg straight. We're gonna lift the left leg up and hold it. We'll try to keep both sitting bones on the ground, belly in, and just pull your leg in toward you a little bit. Push the foot up. And keep the leg where it is. Actually, let's not. Let's bend, straighten the arms, then keep the foot where it is, and frame the leg with the hands. Okay, bend into the knee. Rock yourself forward. Your butt will come up, your hands will come down. Either step into downward dog or shin bone to left arm. Right knee up. Your butt is pretty high. Keep your butt high, just start to drag your right knee into the chest. At some point, it's close enough to your chest that your right foot comes off the ground. Make sure you can breathe. Jump back. Vinyasa. So that was sort of a prep for Ekapadabhakasana. Just do it that way for a few years until you're curious what happens next. Let's come through to sitting. Fold the left leg back if you have no knee pain. Lift the right leg up. And if you can't quite hold the foot, you could hold the calf. You could also have the knee bent a little bit if you're pushing the foot into the hand. Whatever helps you feel like length is happening in your leg. So when we go to back bends in a moment, we're going to need to work these legs quite a bit. We're going to try today back bends to lift one leg at a time. Okay, we'll straighten the arms. Keep your leg floating. That's a lot of hip flexor working. So you might get a cramp here. If that happens, just hold on. Okay, bend into the knee. So you're very settled on your butt. All we have to do is rock forward. I'm just going to back up for the sake of the camera, but when you rock forward, hands land. Right heel can lift. Place your right knee. Lift your right foot. So this is easy, no problem. Now lift your left knee. Your left toenails are pressing into the floor. Just use your abdominals to drag your left knee toward the chest. At some point, it's close enough that the foot can rise. Jump back. In a lot of ways, that prep is harder than the full pose. So make sure that you have the strength to do that before you move on. Okay, let's come down to hands and knees. We're gonna measure out our elbows. I'm just checking the clock. Pincha mayurasana. We're gonna do this a few times. So once you get up there, I'm gonna ask you a question just for your own information. So go on up. You might have a wall near you, or you might be lifting one leg at a time, practicing just getting the strength of the shoulders. Those of you up, just notice, where are you gazing? There is no right answer. Just know what your answer is. And let's come on down. Straighten the arms, downward dog. And let's come through to sitting. And lay back. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. If you have a bun or ponytail thing, take that out for now so that your head can be pressing down into the ground. Lift your hips, roll your shoulders under you. Pin them under. Palms together if you can, hips up. If you have no back issues, keep your feet, bring your feet together. If you have back issues, keep your feet there. When you're ready, right knee toward the chest, and then right leg to the ceiling, straightening the leg. Then change sides. The right foot pushes into the floor so that the hips stay up. Left knee in toward the chest. And then as you extend the leg, the left knee pretty much stays there. Lower the foot. If your feet are together, separate them to hips width. Release the grip. And come on down. Ah, that was nice. Let's rock and roll and sit up. Redo your bun. Step into downward dog. You will need your bun for pincha mayurasana. You don't want your hair getting in your way of your view. So we're going to do pincha again. Wherever your gaze was before, you're going to move it forward 8 inches and back to that setting place, wherever that set was. Forward and back. Just play with your degree of back bend. Those of you new to pincha, to get into it, you're going to use your fingers to drag you forward. You're going to use the hamstring stretching that you did in all your splits to help you get that top leg up and over. And as you're moving your gaze forward and back, your hips are going to change. They're going to move in opposition to your toes. Chaturanga out of it if you want, Miss Carol Bloom. Why not? We meet in downward dog. And let's come through to sitting. Let's lay back. And we'll go for Urdhva Dhanurasana. If that's not for you, repeat Setu Bandha. Lift up. Same deal with the legs. Either feet together or not. Right knee to the chest. Then the knee pretty much stays there as you extend the leg up. You bring it down again, change sides. When you've done both sides, separate the feet again, lower down. Okay, we'll come to downward dog again. There's not such a graceful way to get from point A to point B. All right, so a couple options. So you know if headstand is hard for you. If it is, you're going to repeat this version of headstand until it's boring. If you can, you're gonna do this version of headstand. Baddha, hasta, Sirsasana, C. When you're comfortable there, you're gonna try to lift from there into pincha mayurasana. There's really nothing to see, so you don't have to watch your screen. It's pretty boring to watch, actually. It starts out the same way. We all measure our elbows, and then we decide, do we want to interlace our fingers? Do we want dolphin or headstand? Do we want our palms flat? Do we want down dog B or headstand? If you're choosing headstand, just make sure that you are keeping your hands pressing. And then when you're going to take it to pincha, you're going to have to roll a little bit toward your forehead and drag your chest forward with your fingers. Exit however you want. I was telling them on Friday, after class, someone had requested that, and I said, well, there's a 50-50 chance it works for me. It's a very hard pose. Let's come through to sitting again. So if you were approaching headstands, but not quite in it, all those down dogs, they're building your strength and flexibility, so don't worry. It will all sort itself out. Okay, last back bend. So you choose either interlace the fingers under you, or straight arms, or miss a nook. You're gonna go for forearms. Some others of you can go for forearms as well. I come onto the balls of the feet, just because it's easier to get the forearms down. And then the soles of the feet can come down again. And then when you can, if possible, right leg up. So it's the same thing, you're just changing your arms. The legs will do that lifty thing. Whichever foot is on the ground is pushing really hard. If you're on your forearms, once you're done with both legs, lower to the crown of the head. Place your hands, come into Urdhva Dhanurasana, straight arms. And then we'll all meet on the shoulders, on the back, knees into the chest. And just rock a little side to side. Place the hands on the kneecaps, push the knees away, inhale, and pull them in, exhale. Just one more time like that, inhale, and exhale. Keep the knees close, arms out like a T, and drop the knees to the left. So your knees wind up pretty close to your armpit. Right shoulder on the floor. Your left hand, you can either just put it on your knees, you can take hold of your right foot and kick and get your legs straight. There's all kinds of things. I personally don't feel much difference if I do any of those things, but who knows? You never know what you're going to feel till you try it. Let's come through center over to the other side. But do try to get both shoulders down. Gaze to the left. So it's a pretty big twist. And then if you mess with legs, that's just additional stuff. The twist is the primary action here. Let that left hip, the top hip, move away from your left armpit. And we'll come through center. Do a little sit-up. Hands somewhere on your legs, doesn't matter where. And just rock and roll a few times. Massage out the back. And eventually sit up, Baddha Konasana. Oh my gosh. The clock is not on my side, people. Okay, rise up, straighten the legs. Paschimottanasana. So, a lot of ways to do this. For now, let's bend the knees. Bring our fingers just to the side of the belly button. And either fingertips or knuckles push in so that you're rounding your mid-back. And bring your chest towards your legs. When you're able to use your abdominal strength to bring your belly in, just a little scoopage, take your hands away and find your feet. Drop your head to your shin. And try to create a little space between your belly and your thighs. When you feel ready, straighten your legs a few inches. Make sure you still have some space there. It may not be literal space. There may be like nowhere to go. That's fine, but think of the in and up kind of action. Go a little bit further towards straight legs. And slowly rise up. Sitting cross-legged or lotus. We're just going to take a couple moments. If you're going for lotus, make sure that from half lotus, your knee, right knee, can come to the ground. If your knee is up here, just put your left foot underneath it as a resting place. If it can touch the floor, second leg around. So just sit cross-legged somehow. Let's place our hands down by the hips and just drop the right ear to the right shoulder so that you could stretch the left side of your neck. Keep the heaviness of your head, just gently roll so your chin moves toward your shoulder. Oh Lordy, that's difficult. Keep the heaviness, bring your chin toward the chest, but don't slump forward. Keep lifting the chest up toward the chin. And head to neutral, we'll just try the other side. Left ear to left shoulder. Nice calm breathing, nothing crazy. Chin toward shoulder. If your breathing gets erratic, you've just gone a little too far. No need to be overzealous. Keep the heaviness, just bring your chin to the chest. If you want a little more stretch, interlace your fingers behind the head, elbows drop in, and the arms just add a little extra weight. But make sure you don't wind up in a slump. Draw your belly in, sit up tall, just let the back of the neck stretch, and that will lead to your back. Depending on how tight you are. I feel this all the way in the mid-back. Okay, slowly let that go, whatever that is. Unravel your legs and lay back. For Shavasana, you might want your feet at the edges of the mat. If you have back issues, this is a wonderful way. I did Shavasana like this for probably a decade. It just was never comfortable for me to straighten out the legs. Now it sometimes is. Hit or miss. The palms are facing up. Arms about 35 or 45 degrees from the body.
Let's take a few more breaths where you are. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring the knees in. And roll over to your right side. With the eyes closed, start sitting up. Let's bring the hands together. Deep inhale. Fold forward any amount. Exhale. Namaste.